Assalamualaikum friends and welcome back to the course. In the previous video, we started removing some functions, like not removing them, but putting them in different classes. In this video, we are going to continue the same. So here we have this function that is tune times. It accepts a double array, it removes double array. So what we can do, can start easily with that. I think we can do it simply because it's not a lot of code in here. We could directly do it in one step. I'm going to take this function from here, make it here, and then it will take the normal times. It will return me prayer times a class like that. And I'm going to call it directly with tune times here. And here is the problem. We need some kind of offsets, right? The offsets can be passed directly from the function. So we can pass the offsets like the following. And what we are doing actually, we are looping over the previous array, the array of the prayer times. And for each prayer, we are doing the following. Basically, we can unwrap it like that. We are actually using the previous prayer time. We add it to the new offset of that index, and then we divide everything by 60. This simple thing, this can be translated to something like the following. We could use the previous one, this is the previous one, plus the time offset of, well, we need to use 0, 1, 2, 3 because this is time offset. I think this will be set by the developers directly. You can't fix it. Maybe you can create a class for that called time offset and basically present each offset for each prayer time, but this should work, I think. And here we need to pass the offsets themselves. So I can go to adjust time, and instead of doing that, right, this should work directly. I'm going to pass here some time offset. I think there is an offset here. Alt enter, add parameter to adjust function, go here, right, and just pass those offsets. This should work. Exactly, it is working as expected, hopefully. So here we have functions that we don't need. Basically, we can remove it. Here we can remove the function. Nice. I love removing unused code.
Nice.
Of course, we can remove all of this. Awesome. Now, what are the remaining problems? Here you can see that there is this var times. It's just a var. Nice. You can see the functional style, hopefully. You are getting prayer, let's call it default prayer times, like that. And you are computing the times, adjusting the time, converting them to an array. Why we are converting them to array? Because this one required as an array. You can also move this function and put it directly outside, directly here. This will adjust the time format. Actually, exactly, this is adjusting the time format, so we don't have to mix it with this one. For that, I could rename this tune times to tune times with offset, so it can read much better. Now, what we are doing, actually, we are accepting this one. We don't accept arrays, we accept prayer times, like the following. And this one should return us the time format. So this is a function to convert the normal prayer times into formatted prayer times. So for that reason, we would need, like actually here's the thing, we don't need this one here. We need only, let's call it time format like the following. We don't call it a just time format. We can name it like that, to formatted prayer times, yeah, like the following. Okay, so here's the thing, we need to return a class directly. So I'm going to use the time format in order to create a formatted time, right? Like the following, this should work. To format the time, it makes much sense. I'm going to delete that from here. Or I can say format with, well, I need a pair in order to find good names. Good naming is always an issue. Go back here. We have a problem. I'm going to do times dot to, and this time is to array. All right. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to format with format time. Nice. Guess what? I could do it afterward immediately. Remove this thing. Return. Here, I'm going to return finally formatted prayer times. Exactly, this should work fine. And here we are going to propagate the error. Here, this one should return formatted prayer times. This one should return it means we could return directly this one. Let's run it. Hopefully it should work. It should work. Exactly, it is working. Awesome. Now I can do some basic stuff like that. I can make it like the following. Here, this code, hopefully you can see how it is flowing smoothly, right? I could do it like that. While we have a lot of parameters in here, this is a problem. We are having a lot of parameters. Maybe you can find solution, better solution, because you can see we are keep passing the same values again and again. We are passing the latitude here, okay. We are passing the calculation method here. Okay, that's fine. I can't tolerate such a thing. Again, this would need a pair to have good understanding. And here in this code, you didn't refactor it. I believe you can have much better thing. Here's a version I came up with, just a simple thing, using the none, having good names, having some kind of good structure between them, moving the Maghrib before the Isha, because this is the logical flow. I don't think we can do much better in here. And please, if you have any suggestions to the final code, please let me know. We can create a video and also update the course with it. Like if it is really good refactoring, okay? So everyone can benefit. Here, I believe you can make this return expression body. And this one was pretty clever, of course. So I'm going to keep it. How can I fix that? Exactly this function, calling this function. Okay, let me just keep it. I'm not able to think much. All right, let me delete that. Same thing, let me have one expression body like that. Now the code is still big, right? But we moved all the logic basically to this class, which is the prayer time class. It is responsible for calculating the prayer times. And here we go, we don't need this function anymore. That's awesome. So we created a temporary function just to help us in the refactoring. I could have something like that. And I believe we are done with this thing. Still, we have this one. This is simple tuning. I could make it like following. That's awesome. Now I can make some adjustment in here. Basically, only the flow. I need the flow to be correct. So here, the offset, I think we could make it part of the public API. Yeah, exactly. I can move it to constructor and expect, yeah, exactly. This is the default one. And I expect someone to change it. When someone needs to change the values, he can give me those values as part of the constructor because this is configuration stuff. Right? We are not going to create the prayer time calculator, calculate the prayer times, and then deciding to have some tuning. Like I believe this should be part of the public API. I'm going to delete this one and fix the test. Here, this is simple call. I could make expression body like that. And as you can see, we have this function. The first function will be called this one. This will call this one, exactly. And this will call this one. Okay? The Julian date here is actually doing almost nothing. This one, we can copy the whole code in here and put it directly here. That would work. Or we can copy this code and put it directly here. This is much better. Run the test. Everything should pass. Exactly. Yeah, we have problem. Yeah, let me see. Exactly here we are having tuning time with this one. Okay, that was an error actually. We are tuning it with the default value. So it doesn't make sense. Like I'm going to fix it here. I'm going to pass it here. Let me just use offsets. And the test should keep passing. Nice. But I need to test whether this one is actually, well, we are at the end of the refactoring. So this is kind of one test we missed during the course. We needed some tests that will have different values here instead of zeros that will help us see and capture the behavior. I'm going to create it right here. I know we are at the end, but I'm going to test it cleverly, hopefully. I'm going to add it like the following. This is simple test case for offsets. I'm going to pass the offsets. Where are the offsets? This is an int array. Here I passed 6. Let's check if our test is capturing this one. Exactly, it shouldn't capture this one because index out of bound. Makes sense. Let me put 1, 0 again. And here I want to increase the fudger time. I don't understand what float means. I'm going to pass 1 here. So I suspect this one means hours. I should see here 7. Otherwise, this should be minutes. I should see 3. If my tests show either of these values, I can see that I guarantee the full behavior. Okay, this changed nothing. This is pretty weird. Okay, let me change different value. Let's add 20 here. Run everything. Problematic. I think I should move beyond that. Let's try this value. This is for Dhuhr prayer. One more time. Exactly, it's not working. So what is happening at the Dhuhr prayer time? This is Fajr sunrise Dhuhr. Nice. The Dhuhr is increased exactly by 2 hours. So it means this one is working on the hours. So it means I can change this one, make it 15, and I can guarantee that my tests are working correctly and I didn't break anything throughout the refactoring because the tests seem logical. So to prove that, let's increase it by 180. I suspect this increased by 3 complete hours. Let's not make it hours. Let's make it 5 in here. So I suspect this should be 21 exactly. And here it should be 43. Let's run it. If our test passed, it means you are doing it correctly. We are not actually. Why is that? It's still 38. Okay, and now I understand it because this is a problem. The offset will work only for the hours, that thing. So it's an offset of hours, not actually offset of flow times. That's why it is integer. I'm going to keep it as it is. Let me delete that. We don't need this class anymore. We don't need that function anymore. We should do the refactoring always. We should delete and refactor, clean the code. We don't need this one. And we don't need this one. Okay, We have a good suite of tests that is trying to test, I think 26 tests, exactly 26 tests in 137 milliseconds. That's awesome. I believe we extracted this also to the right enums, so this is fine. And for this class, I'm going to keep it here, okay? I'm going to keep it here. Actually, I'm going to name it prayer times. Prayer, exactly, it's prayer time. We could create an extra type here called prayer time. Prayer time, it's actually one prayer time. And this actually can be value class, like following. This needs to be at GVM inline, like following. Could name it prayer time. And actually its value, basically it's just a double. Let's call it time. It's a double. But I don't see any benefit in here because here's the thing. We need to extract some logic to this type. It's not actually just wrapping around some type and saying that this is value object of some kind. Yes, it is value object actually, but only if it has some logic inside it, okay? We could create or change this one. Yeah, we could make this data portion instead of doing this 24 times. We could have it for each one, but still we could call a function that will do that for us. Same thing will happen multiple times. Yes, let's not do. Sometimes you think you are the smart guy and you will over-engineer it, but I think this is by far, I think what we did also is some kind of over-engineering, but this from the point of educational purposes. I try to show real problems and how we can solve them. I'm going to keep this class here because I don't want other people to access it. Okay, this actually, the actual logic to calculate the prayer times is here. Don't make this, this is private actually. The only compute time, exactly this one, compute time, adjust time, and format width are the ones that need to be available to the outside world. Compute time, this one is private, private, private. Nice. Okay, that's fine. I believe this is fine. We can do some reorganization here so we can conclude. Right? This is the first function that's going to be called. You can do the following and see one method by method. This day portion is called here. This compute time, if you delete it, okay, this one will be affected. Okay, if you delete this one will be affected. If you delete this one will be affected. If we delete this one will be affected. Nice. So we can take it from here and push it outside. Let's go back. If you delete, I think, all of this will be affected. So I can put it after that. Nice. Who is using this function? Nice. This one can be simplified to the following. Actually, this is kind of good thing. Now this adjust time, okay, this, I think there is an adjust. There is a function called adjust. This one. It's actually adjusting for time zone. Okay, time zone and longitude. Okay. I don't have a pretty good name for that. I don't understand what it's doing exactly. Even if the whole code, I don't understand why we are doing this one, why we are doing this one. I'm refactoring because I do have some tests. So I think this is fine for the moment. This adjust is going to be called from here. So this makes much more sense. I believe we did a good thing. I think we can extract this to a separate class, refactor it. I know, please continue to do that. It will be private, we'll have some problems. Go here and make it internal. So it will be used only in the module of the prayer time calculator. It won't be used by outsiders who are using our library. Okay, this is fine. I believe we end up in almost 50 lines of code, which are pretty descriptive, right? There are good level of abstraction in here. And here in this code, you end up in, well, the remaining stuff. But basically you can see most of the lines are about this one. Right, you can see it here. It's actually 4 times, exactly 4 times. You could remove some code, and this is basically it. If you have any kind of suggestion, please let me know, and so we can improve our code base. That's basically it. With this video, we are cluttering the course. Thank you very much, and see you in the final video. Assalamu alaikum.